Are you wasting your time and money on inefficiencies in the business? Are sales down and lead conversion rates are low? Are you having problems building or maintaining inventory levels? What does it really take to win in the automotive industry?
Get the cars that make sense for your store rather than just wishing at an auction, so it gives you that better control.
With over 25 years of experience, Darrell the Wolf Steed isn't just another industry voice. He's the guy who's out there solving real problems for dealers just like you.
They'll even say in the Pacific Northwest where you're at that it's a tougher market. It's, it's tougher to find cars. The market's a little bit softer. And in the midst of all this, your turn doubled and your profit's up 75%.
Yes.
The truth hurts only when it should. Are you ready to hear the truths? Darrell is here to unpack the hard truths and the proven strategies that will take your dealership from struggling to soaring. And he is taking it all in the streets, with real talk, open dialogue, unfiltered conversations. This is the podcast series, Street Smarts, powered by Smartwolf Consulting.
And welcome back to another edition of Street Smarts, powered by Smartwolf Consulting. Today, we are talking about something that should get plenty of conversation. Have we lost the ability to think for ourselves? So some of you guys may follow some of these clubhouse calls or podcasts, and a lot of the conversation has been directly attributed to AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's making an embracement into our industry. And I really wanted to take a moment to kind of go over some facts and really talk about this in general. And I have a whole list, so we're going to kind of go through it, but this is going to be very quickly. I think people think AI is new. I think they think like this just happened. Like, oh my gosh, where's it been? Well, the simple fact is AI has been around since the 1950s. The Turing machine, some of you guys may know Alan Turing, with the Enigma machine, that was AI, right? It's predictive, right? They were doing analytics and computer dating. And then we got into a deeper learning AI in 2010, right? So 60 years goes by, and then we finally had computing power, the internet age, things of that nature. And we got into deep learning. That's where it was actually learning how to do things. But, there's a gentleman named Ben Hadley. He's in the auto industry, and I want to give him a shout out because this guy does more research than I do. But like autocorrect AI, right? Auto dialer AI. Like we've had versions of AI in the big industries for a while. We've actually had AI in some form and nature with banks and the bank operators and things like that since the early 80s. So this isn't new. But in 2010, we got the deep learning AI. And that's where it started learning how to do things in prompts and text and even maybe like an automated text, things of that nature. So now we're in 2025 and AI is like brand new. One even said, and I believe it was at a Google conference, where it's essentially kale, guys. It's been repackaged and sold as it's brand new, and it's the same thing we've had for years and years and years. Now, AI has did a transformation, and there are multiple different versions of AI. So we have AI that is single language model. We have AI that is computive data. We have predictive data. We have large language models. We have agentic or autonomous. And so there are a lot of different versions of this and a lot of different things it can and can't do. So you have to be pretty prepared for what you're getting and what you're doing. But when we think about, have we lost the fact to learn or to speak for ourselves or the ability to think for ourselves, is I think we might be in trouble here, guys. I think we have to think about this and just take a step back and take a breath of why are we becoming so dependent on a tool, and rather than thinking, studying, researching for ourselves, and then having collective thought. I was on a call this morning when they were talking about AI, and this came to me, and so I wanted to do a quick rundown of this and a quick 10, 15-minute conversation about this to give you guys something to think about. How many of you guys right now are using ChatGPT? My guess is a lot of people will. If you are using it, like it, throw some kind of symbol at it, comment on it, put something in there. Let's just see how many people engage with this. And then again, how many of you guys know that there are 18 different AI tools? At least 18. There might be more because it's been 5 minutes since we started this. There might have been one new one that's been created. That's how fast AI is going. But ChatGPT is probably the most recognizable. Then you have Perplexity. Then you have Claude. Then you have Otter AI. Then you have Gemini. And then there's so many more. I'm literally in another class right now. It's a 14-week class to get certified and understanding most of these. And why I thought about this is like, have we lost the ability to think for ourselves? Is how many of we, us in general, have lost the ability to think and apply things on our own? Where we type in 2 sentences into AI and we say something like this: I want to discuss and write an article about used car operations in today's market. And then it spits out an article and then we post it like it's our own intelligent thought. No real research, just regurgitated data from everything that's been posted out there based on old methodologies, bad business practices, or things that are no longer applicable for today's models. But they've put it into a format so where it makes it look like you've had an intelligent thought. And then we immediately read it. We're like, ooh, wow, look at that. That's a really cool. And we're just clamoring on to the same thing that's been repackaged from all the data points that AI or ChatGPT has brought up and then put into an article. What happened to where you actually had to do all your own site references, come up with an intellectual thought or a point of view, and then you had to write it yourself? Now, as we ponder that question, I've used ChatGPT to format an article, not to write one. Like I will go through and I'll write like handwritten. Okay, I have paper. I'll handwrite it and I'll have notes and I'll have an outline. And then I will go put that in there and I want to format it because some of us aren't great at like the punctuation or the formatting of sentences or things of that nature. I think AI is great for that. I use Grammarly. I use ChatGPT for those type of things because when I do write something, it may be tons of thoughts. I want to collect it and make it to where it is palatable for people to read. But I have now seen probably 15 articles this morning that you can tell they put a couple sentences in and then they format, and ChatGPT wrote it, and it's very, very simple format. So you can tell exactly when it came from ChatGPT. They didn't even lay it out directly. They literally copied, pasted it, and boom. And like now they're geniuses. They've come up with intellectual thought. We're just clamoring on to what other things have already been talked about, repackaged, and reserved up by somebody else who didn't have an intelligent or a unique thought to provide conversation. And I'm going to reference Ben Hadley again because, hey, when you hear something that's provocative or something that has a lot of impactful meaning, you got to give people credit for what they've done. And, he was talking today on a call about effort equaling meaning. And I thought that was interesting because it goes right into this topic that I wanted to talk about. When we put in effort and you've put a PowerPoint together, a presentation, or when we did a high school project or a college project, then there was meaning behind it because the time you put into it and people could see whether or not you half-assed it or if you actually did it. And not only that is when people see something, they can see if it's more cookie cutter or if it's got some in-depth conversation where there's like, where were you going with this? Was there a story told in it? Was it personal? Like, did it have any type of engagement to you? And so then there's meaning behind it because of the effort that was put in. I also think that goes with consumer experience, which we will discuss on another podcast, because I think effort and meaning in the consumer experience means more now than it's ever meant before. But when you put effort into something, you can tell then there becomes this instructional foundation of meaning because they go like, wow, this person really worked hard on this. But now when we have these new AI tools, I think that we may be broaching a problem where we don't know whether or not effort's been put into it. Because as these things get better and better, someone could write in 3 sentences. They could write in just a couple of detailed and a couple of very objective points of view, right? 2 sentences of objective point of view, add a couple adjective to it, sprinkle some magic dust on it, put it into ChatGPT and come out, and it'll give you all these great intellectual data points. So when we think about this, is that I want to challenge everybody. Guys, as good as AI is, the abandonment of original thought and conversation and the consumer experience and the ability to dictate that and talk about that is going to cause you more problems than it does actually help you. You have to be able to create connection, and connection is built based on learning it and doing it. So David Long had said, like, when he didn't know a word, he would highlight it, and then he'd go learn that word, and then it would change the whole perspective of the paragraph he was reading. And I know a lot of people that are doing that, but this came up on that call. And when you think about that, is when we take the time to learn something and master it, then it has meaning, it has passion, it has believability, it has authoritative nature in it. It has trustworthiness because you speak from a place of the expertise because you learned it, not something you're regurgitating that you read from someone. That understanding and learning, that effort you put in creates a huge meaning to the people that you recite it to and you deal with. I take a lot of reverence in that I have spent the last 15 years of my career becoming an expert in used car strategy, acquisition, and operations. And I want to make sure that anytime something's coming, it could possibly be coming, I go learn about it, I read it, I study it. Then I sit there and practically put it into practice with things that I'm doing or with clients so we can see, does it actually work or is it just an idea? And just like when GEO came out, okay, generative engine optimization, and now all these AI tools, the first thing I did is went and signed up for a class. I didn't sit there and ask for a Cliff's Notes version of this so I could sound smart. I'm learning about all these things, and I promise you, every day that I'm in these classes, okay, I feel dumber and dumber of all the things this thing can do. And then I feel just as like excited. I feel scared because I'm like, man, are people going to now depend on this to where they can't be original? They don't know what to do on their own without asking a computer. But it's a really unique time. But I'm going to sit there and wrap things up with a quick little just question, challenge, or provocative thought to everybody out in the universe. Have we lost the ability to think for ourselves? Have we already clambered onto something that is going to make us, I'll say dumber, less intelligent as a society because we're just regurgitating something that someone else gives us? Or do we actually have provocative thought and be able to learn, challenge, and discuss that in an intelligent manner? Or are we just going to be sitting around with notes that we got from a computer and then really regurgitating what someone else's thoughts are? Because that's really what it is. It's basically taking all the data that's in there and then putting it to you in a different way. And we have to be able to write different thoughts. I mean, I would ask everybody this too, is would you even know if you read a book that was completely written by AI? Now, some of you guys might be thinking, no, that's not possible. It's already happened. A whole book has already been written by AI and published. Would you know if you're reading something that someone actually created or just a carbon copy of all kinds of facts and words being realigned and put into a book? As questionable as it is, guys, we can do better. Let's make sure that we take the effort and we apply that and we get better at what we do and we become a master, a skilled expert, an authoritarian in our area. We become trusted because we not only have done it, we've read it, we've learned it, we've mastered it, and that we give the experience and show people how to do that, right? So that we become the voice that people can engage with and trust rather than just something that they go click a couple sentences in and they're being told how to think. Don't lose the ability to think for yourselves, talk for yourselves, and be able to challenge things and depend on somebody else to do that for you. Make sure that you keep that intellectual piece of yourself because that's what makes us different than everybody else. This is Darrell Steed, Street Smarts, short version of the podcast today just to create some thoughts. I hope you guys all have a great week. It is Friday, August 15th. And you guys, don't stop thinking.